Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am back in the kitchen. I've got my mic back because it was broken and I've got it fixed now. So yay! And to celebrate that, I am making a delicious stuffed paratha. Parathas are all year round kind of dish, but especially right now when it's getting cold, they are the perfect meal, and you can make it in a way that you don't have to serve it with anything else because you can stuff it and then it's a meal on its own, which is what I'm going to do today. So I am making a aloo matar paratha, which is potato and peas stuffed paratha. Before I start cooking, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss out on any of the recipes. Right guys, so I need to start by boiling some potatoes, and while the potatoes are being boiled, I am going to in that time make the dough. You know, I like to multitask so that it all comes together quickly. As always, I'm going to cook for 4 people, so I'm going to start with 5. I'm using red potatoes because they grow locally and they are great all-rounder. You can use any potatoes of your choice that are good for boiling. I'm going to peel, chop, and then boil them until they are nice and soft. So all I have done is filled it up just where the potatoes are, and I'm going to bring it to a boil. So this is going to come to a boil. I'm also going to prep some peas. And here I have just got half a cup of frozen peas. I'm going to cover it with water and then just going to bring it to a boil. So I have the potatoes coming to a boil and then I've got the peas coming to a boil. Once they come to a boil, I'm going to turn this off and drain it. They don't need cooking. This, however, once it's boiled, I will let it cook until the potatoes are nice and soft. While these two things are cooking, the potatoes and the peas, I am going to prepare the dough so that it can rest up for 15 minutes while the potatoes are boiling, and then they'll cool down for 5 minutes. So that is enough time for me to get the dough ready and rested. Right, before I could start the dough, the peas are done. So they've come to a boil, and all I'm going to do is just drain them, and then they'll just sit on the side, just getting a bit cool down because this is very hot. Let's focus on the dough now. So for the dough, I always tend to use atta, which is the chapati flour. But today, I just wanted to show you that actually you can make parathas with plain flour too. So I'm using all plain flour. So that is 300 grams of plain flour. To the plain flour, I'm going to add half a teaspoon salt, half a teaspoon turmeric, and half a teaspoon of onion seeds. Give it a mix. Now goes in the water. So as always, you slowly start adding water. Little bit at a time, and then you stop when you have a nice soft dough. The beauty of the flatbread dough is that you really don't need a mixer or get the whole thing out. These doughs are best made by hand because you can just stop when you know that you don't need water. It doesn't need kneading, it just needs a bit of resting time. I have roughly added around 170-180 ml of water, but as always, don't go by my measurements. Just add whatever you think will give you a soft dough, and now you just give it a few seconds of kneading. Now it's really important to let this rest. So just going to get a drop of oil. Cover and leave this aside for 15 minutes or half an hour. Okay, so the potatoes are boiled and they will go. I'll drain these, and now I'm gonna let it sit and cool down. So that's gonna cool down for 15 minutes. The dough is gonna rest, and I've also got my peas resting. Time for coffee. So I am just gonna chop a handful of fresh coriander. Also going in is a nice handful of dill, just chopped up. Combination of coriander, dill, potato and peas is just sensational. And a couple of really spicy hot chilies. You can use one, you can use none, but a little bit of heat just does help bring it out. Now everything has cooled down. It's time to get this party started. Also, sorry, forgot to say, I am going to finely chop 4 garlic cloves. First in potatoes. Mash them by hand or a potato masher. Perfectly boiled. Now the peas. Coriander, dill, chilies and garlic. Gonna add 3/4 teaspoon, not full, of salt. Teaspoon of cumin powder. Teaspoon of chaat masala, and all that's left to do is mix it up. It does smell amazing, just amazing. So here is the dough rested. Just gonna see how many this makes. So the size of the parathas depends on what you prefer. I don't like too big, too small. I think roti size is what I prefer. So this is going to make 8, which is perfect. 2 per person is enough for dinner. This is going to be our dinner tonight. The dough is so soft. Look at that. And all I've done is let it rest, really. Only needed it for a few seconds. There's all the portions. Now I can roll and stuff the parathas. Just rolling it in some flour. And then it basically should be like the size of your palms. Then we get that mixture. The filling smells just so fresh because of the herbs and the chaat masala. Right, make sure you press it from the joint where you pinched it. Press it a little, roll in the flour, and then press again, and that makes sure that your paratha won't split too much. If you start rolling straight away, sometimes they'll just poke from one corner, and then you roll. And I'm gonna repeat the same with all the 8 parathas. So a lot of people ask me about pre-preparing, how to serve it later, blah, blah, blah. Now what you can do is, and what I'm going to do is, I'm going to fill all of them, roll all of them. Obviously I'll cook one to show you guys, but the rest of them I will just cook without adding any oil. So kind of semi-cook it and then wrap it in a foil, put it in a box, and in the evening when we are ready to eat, there'll be no mess created because all I'm going to do is reheat them and then cook them in a little bit of ghee or oil, and then your parathas are ready. You can again cook them, put them in the fridge. If you've made them fresh, they'll last for a good 4-5 days. I am guessing you can freeze them too, but if you have been a follower for a long time, you know I'm not into freezing food at all. I'm sure you can semi-cook it and freeze it as well. Yeah, so that is the tip if you want to pre-cook it. So while I am rolling the parathas on the side, I'm gonna start cooking it. So just medium heat, a couple of minutes on each side before I add the oil or the ghee. Once you see kind of some bubbles, that's when you know you've got to turn it, and then give it another couple of minutes on this side. Like I said, you can use any oil. I have got some homemade ghee, which is just a couple of tablespoons left. I'm just going to use that for this one. doesn't it look like ray of sunshine, because sunshine from here has disappeared. Looks beautiful. And here they are, herby potato and peas paratha. You can, like I said, I'm serving it with butter. You can serve it with some yogurt on the side, season with salt and pepper. You could serve it with some dal. This doesn't need something else, but in case, you can add some pickle or some chutney. Green chutney will be great with this. I know many of you, including myself, would happily eat this as a snack with a cup of tea. I might do that. I need to wrap up. Go make this, enjoy with your family and friends. You can prepare it and then take it for your lunchbox next day, because a lot of people ask me for lunchbox idea. This is perfect lunchbox example. And come back for another new recipe. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and bye for now. So good, guys. This is so good.